Hello, hola, what's up? How is everyone? Super long time not seeing me. Um, the occasional little comments here and there. I have been going through quite an ordeal, as many of us have across the world. That being said, this is not scripted. Things are just obviously going to be just flying right out. Whatever comes out of my mouth, most likely no filter. I used to always say, like, there was no filter for me. Like, but then I would hold back certain things. And I think that that's filtering, when we hold back things that are significant to us, that are meaningful to us, that could potentially affect other people in a negative fashion, positive fashion. We don't say everything we need to say because we're worried about what other people think about us, right? But some of those things should just never, ever come out. So there should be some kind of filter, right? Like, I think about all the things that are happening that we don't know about. We live our lives, as much as we think we are so open-minded, we live our lives in a freaking bubble. We don't believe everything that we hear and see, because so many different things have happened in life where people have superimposed images in our mind, expecting us to now associate how we live our lives to that and how we should conform to that. As early as, wow, magazine life. You guys remember looking at Sports Illustrated magazine and you're like, oh my gosh, that person's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And there was so much of it that was not in the right realm, because that was on paper and it can be totally edited. And we allowed that to be, that perception to lead us, guide us in this misconstrued vision of what life is supposed to be for so many of us. So then we judge ourselves even more harshly. That's seriously fucked up. Like, for real. Because now we walk around with these things in our hands every single day. And we literally will walk up to someone and hope that they can make us look like this, that they can help us be better, or just more likely fit someone else's expectations of us. I think that I might lose a lot of Facebook friends. I might lose some Instagram followers, and the few that I have on TikTok and Clapper and freaking X and everything that's out there. Because things are going to be said differently now. Things are going to be just a little bit different. They've always been from my heart and from my mind and experience and moments that are very heartfelt. I've always believed that human rights were the most important thing. Human rights. I am having to deal with so many thoughts in my mind, so many times where I wish I could say something, but am I disrespecting someone else if I say it and it's affecting them and they're not even here to share it for themselves because maybe they can't? They choose not to. Or maybe they know better, that people aren't going to care. So why should they bother? I said we have a voice. I was helping a friend run for office before, and I believe that she had a voice. People listened. People understood. They didn't just hear, but they felt the empathy. I don't expect every single person to be empathetic, but I certainly do hope that people understand that if no one is affecting your life in a negative fashion, why would you in any way want to change any of the life choices they have for themselves? The ability to be able to live happily. Some people want to live like, grumpy. Oscar the Grouch and what the heck was that show? The heck was it? Oh my gosh. I want to call them the odd couple. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I've made some choices. Oh, what? Let's talk about that for a second. I made some choices. Never thought I was going to do this. Never did. I literally had one of my blessings actually make a change and add a piercing to their face. And I was literally told all of them at that point, I was like, before that occurred, I was like, please give some serious thought to this, because I don't ever want you to make a decision that could mess with any future decisions that you would want to have as an option in your life. Well, very recently, I went and applied for a job. At this particular moment, I'm not going to name the name. It was a fast food place. I was like, oh, I could squeeze in just a few hours here and there, and I'll be good to go, because I need the extra money. Don't we all? So what ended up happening is I sat through the interview, and I was looked at and said, hey, Yadira, I have one question for you. One question. Would you be able to take the piercings out? I mean, I can. I typically pay someone to do that stuff, to put them in, swap them out. I have more. I just don't have jewelry in all the holes that I have. But what? See, we judge so many things by its cover. We judge people by their exterior. Do you know how long it took Anne Arundel County police officers to go from wearing long sleeve in the summertime because they were inked up to now being able to wear short sleeve? It was a long, hard struggle for them. But they did it, and guess what? They're still police officers. Their life's choices for adding ink to their body and or piercings affected no other person, did not in any way sway from their job description, right? So I said, yeah, no, I just recently got these. Like, so no, no, it's not an option. And I knew what my choice was. My choice was to go in and apply, see if I'd get hired so I could work 3 days a week for maybe 4 hours in the morning at an odd hour. Most people would not want to work. And they made their choice to not hire me because I had piercings. But oddly enough, in my mind, I'm thinking the entire time I'm being asked, and I had thought this before, the type of person I am, the type of service that I provide because of who I am, all of this disappears. The hair colors, the piercings. This makes me no less professional. When you hear me speak, when you know I'm talking to you because I care about you, when you know I'm not trying to sell you a full package deal that only 2 items is going to benefit you, you will then know none of this matters. The ink on my arm doesn't matter. The rest of the ink and piercings on my body, as they come, will not affect you as a person. It affects me. If I can look in the mirror and be content with the choice that I made, that decision that I made. See, I had a whole bunch of options available. Never thought I was going to do it. Started out with a Medusa. Everything, and that was a couple years back. Okay, now maybe 3 years back. But then, all this other stuff just happened. I was always conforming for people once I got to the adult world. Like when you're a teenager, you're younger, people just say, oh, they're just going through stages. It's a phase. It's this and that. And then everything else starts to be a stage or a phase in your life. Oh, that age when this happens. I mean, hello, it all starts when we start labeling our kids like the terrible 2s and the treacherous 3s. And I don't even know what happens with everything else. With all the other years. And then which year is better? And then we're celebrating 18 and we're celebrating 21. And then the next thing you know, we're, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly be 30. What are we celebrating? And then 40. Oh my God, no. And then 50. Now you're over the hill. Did you make it there yet? Dude, let me tell you what. You've made it this far in your life, and people's choice for themselves have still allowed you to live your life the way you choose. Why is it people are dead set on hurting other people? I remember being bullied as a child. I remember disciplining my kids in different ways, because as time progressed, I learned different things. Because when I was younger, things were different. When I was younger, I had no idea that the life I was living was so privileged until, like, I thought it was great. My dad was in the service. We got to experience so many things. We traveled. I had no idea that my privilege, because my father chose his, we all choose our path. My father's path, remember, there's a fork in the road, right? You can choose what you want to do. And he made sure that his decision allowed him to stay on the path of survival, right? Because that's what we all do. We're all surviving. Oddly enough, I don't know if he knew he was making a choice that wasn't just for himself, to escape, to be able to survive in a different world. But could he? Because he was allowed to do that because he was expendable. We do a lot of different things in life, you know, and we live in this bubble. We don't know how our lives could possibly be so if you lived in a different zip code, if you were born in a different country, this would be a whole different conversation, right? Doesn't matter where you're from. It's literally, it would be a totally different conversation, because as you hear words of where you're from and things that you've done and foods that you eat and things that you like, that's all come from experience. It's all come from how you got to start your life. And my father's decision to travel in the service, to join the service, and then to travel where he was stationed, allowed him to meet my mother, allowed them to create a family, which then allowed us to progress into traveling to different countries, having many, many experiences that so many people still to this day will not have, because things were different in that time. But I had no idea the life that I had was a privilege, but yet that it was lacking so much privilege. Did you hear me? I literally lived a privileged life, but still lacking in privilege. What the actual fuck? To know that when I was born in 1972, things were just coming about. To know that things before that were a struggle. To know that I just heard a woman say in a video she didn't need any more rights because she had enough. She had her rights. Well, wake up, lady. I'm not even giving you a name. You have those rights, those privileges, because someone else fought for them. Just as we are ever so thankful for all of our armed services when they have fought for us, to then turn around and they know that they fought so that we as people, as humans, would be able to live a somewhat better life, because that was their choice to help us. Why are we not helping everybody? Why are we not helping each other? Oh my gosh. Do you know how much I love giving? Do you have any clue? When you give something from here, and it was thought out, and you're thinking about the person, but you get to do it, it's the best feeling in the world. So the next time you make a decision, when you hit that fork in the road, think about something. Don't just think about yourself. Don't just think about what's been ingrained in you. This world is so much different than it used to be. Our bubble could never be burst because we did not have the option of seeing everything. Optics are different now. We walk around seeing all of these images of who we should be and what we should look like. But it also allows us the benefit of seeing what other people have to endure in life, what they have had to deal with, what they're dealing with now, where we should not go back to. That's someone else's current day. That's seriously fucked up. You're not going to like the things that you start to hear from me because I'm going to start sharing so much on so many different levels. I just had to endure so much stress because I trusted a company to take care of and do their job. And then they broke it. They screwed up and they hurt me so bad. And they have no idea that after so many months of struggle and having trusted them for a while and then being looked at when I said that I needed something done. Oh, you don't trust us? Please give me a reason why I should. Tell me why I should, because when I did, and then I did again, you definitely fooled me every single fucking time. So then my body had to endure so much. I suffered so much pain. I ended up having to go to the ED. I had no idea what was going on with me. I was then admitted. The first morning, female doctor, you're in pain, you stay. The next day, male doctor, you're in pain, you can go home. You can go ahead and get your treatments elsewhere. Like, do them. But, wow. Zero thought to the fact that I was literally dealing with things that were masked then because I was on medication constantly. I was so bad that one day I didn't get to acknowledge anyone, do anything because it was that bad. I was not lucid. Okay? Not far from it. Far from it. Having endured so much pain, days later, I wasn't sure if I should go back, what to do, go to a different hospital, go to this and that. I mean, it was the best care I've had in the sense of the staffing, nurses and the techs. After the first hour, great. And I'll have to mention this in a separate one because there were some things that happened. But so someone had called and then the alarm goes off and that just messed everything up. But someone had said something to me and it set me off. And I was there to take care of me. And the person who said something was so rude. And supposed to be someone that we can trust to take care of and help. This was before I even got to enter the building. So I think about a lot of the things that I've had to endure. And do you know how many times we're like, oh, well, that'll just be like, that's just how they are. And that's how this is. And that's how that is. And, oh, gosh, we could talk about this forever, right? How we just dismiss things. How we just, okay, brush it off. Do you know how many times I've done that? That's not happening anymore. Because you see, it was one thing when it was just me. Just me. But my body, my vessel, had to make a decision every single time that I was pregnant. I had to make the right choice. I knew what the right choice was for me. That was to go forth with each pregnancy Was it the right choice for my children? Because now look at where we are. I've had to make sure that every decision I made, while they couldn't make them for themselves, was the right one for them. I provided them with what I can, whether it be my-sided versus the rest of the world. It is what it is. But my life was just my life when it was just me. And they're all adults now. And it hasn't been just me for many, many, many years. More than half my life. So don't expect me to not care. I'm not one of those, oh, I wish they would go back to school, or I don't want to be around them, moms. I will do anything for my children. Anything for my children. You can quote me on that. Yes, we have to be mindful of the things that we say. But if loving my children, protecting them, and thinking of them with everything that I do still to this day, is frowned upon by others, I'll let it be. Because apparently it's affecting their lives so harshly. Like they could not function because of my choice to have my children, to make sure that I think of them and other people on this planet. See, I wasn't thought about when I was being bullied in a nice way, right? I wasn't thought about in a nice way, like, oh, this is a person, she doesn't deserve to be attacked by so many boys all at once. Hit, spit on, rocks thrown at her. Why? Because she wasn't the right color? Yeah, that stuff I had to endure personally, but that's not all, and there's more. That's not happening today. We're not going to talk about all that today. But my choice after that mattered. My decision to tell my family, to then have my family go to the school and report said people. See, all of that mattered because if I didn't say or do anything, it could have happened to someone else. I was in elementary school thinking like that. What's your excuse? For those of you who don't have that excuse, who would have done the same thing, or any of you, stay tuned. I haven't deleted people for a reason. I was going to. Just clean the slate because of all the different stuff I've had to endure. Not just this year. You can make multiple movies out of my life. We'll say that. I can't take much more of this. My body can't take it right now. So I'm going to leave you with the following. Again, so unscripted. I'm probably going to have to go back, take notes, and do individual videos of things. But know something. No matter how much you've hurt me as a person in a personal relationship, right? It's most likely that you could still call me. I wouldn't say I'd forgive you. I definitely won't forget. But in my mind, I would still have to decide whether I would or I wouldn't. I wouldn't have made the decision before you even called that I wouldn't. And if I did, and you still called, I would still think about it. Because that's who I am. and you live your life being hurt all the time, the last thing you want is for anybody to hurt. I don't know when I'll be coming back. If I do it every day, great. The things I'm going to talk about, don't know. Some things I might plan ahead just because, like I said, I have to like go back and watch this video to see what things I talked about and maybe elaborate on them even further. This is the Wow Wednesday because life is so freaking wow right now. We all tick boxes every day. And every so often, one of those boxes, a handful of those boxes, aren't just on our to-do list for the day, for the week, for the month. So we've accomplished something for ourselves at that particular time. Some boxes do more. I have a lot going on in my head right now. I want to end this live, and people are going to be like, go ahead and end it. But at the same time, I wish I could say so much more. And realistically speaking, I know that cannot just happen in one 10, 20-minute video. That's just not going to happen. So stay with me. Follow along. There's so many things that are happening. Not just topical either. And by the way, feel free to tell me what you think about my piercings. I'm open to hearing. I mean, say what you will. They're already done. They're not hurting you. I really do hope that you come back and see me. I will try to get back to like my normal schedule. Set another freaking alarm and I don't know why. I would try to get back to my normal schedule from before. I will see about doing the wows on Wednesdays and seeing about going live every day and definitely doing a chatter day because this one ended up being a little bit longer. I didn't know. I mean, I have so much to say, but I don't want to say it all. And I certainly don't want to get myself worked up because it really does hurt me very badly. Stress is just, it's an ugly thing. And when other people cause it, you don't know why. Oh, that fucking sucks. So in the meantime, I wish you all well. Please remember to love yourself forever and evolve. Thank you for listening to me, YADIRA Moves U. Remember to move to your flow and to glow as you flow. I'll be back very, very soon. I hope I'm speaking for other people who can't speak. Choose not to. If it resonates, feel free to share it out. Feel free to comment. Please take care of yourself. Please. Please.